Hey, you guys, welcome back once again to the channel. And we're still talking Married at First Sight. We are winding down. We are at the finale, part two, tomorrow. And if you haven't caught over the last few days the videos that I did in specific to each couple, go check them out on this channel, and I can link them in this video. So we're going to talk about Alyssa and Chris. Now, I was actually a little bit surprised because I'm like, I thought they were completely done. We did get to see a little bit of them on decision day, or shall I say, after the decision day. And then we saw them, of course, in reunion part one. Now, a lot of folks was like, why are they there? On the flip side, I also know how contracts work, so they probably were still under contractual obligation, even though their marriage ended very early on, I think probably 2 weeks in. But I guess they wanted to make sure that they get some form of closure with this couple. So we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to elaborate on some of the sneak peeks that I saw for tomorrow's episode. But before we do this, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and drop a comment down in the comment section below. So, I'm not going to waste any more time here with this intro. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. So, as we remember on May 17th, which was last Wednesday, the reunion part one, Married at First Sight sat down with the couple Chris Collette and Alyssa Elman. Um, they chose to get a divorce after 12 days meeting at the altar when we saw the show. Um, I felt sorry for him, even though she claimed she came into this with the purest intentions. Yeah. When they started talking about what had happened, she claimed she wanted to find her person more than anything. And when it didn't work out for her, she panicked. And she claimed that she didn't handle herself the way that she would have liked, and she apologized for that. She did talk about while she regret the behavior, she does not regret joining the show. But looking back, she did say she was grateful for the things that she's learned, and she just want everybody to know I'm here for the right reasons. Now as for Chris, yeah, Chris felt Alyssa wasn't putting in the effort. Um, he also suspected the lack of physical attraction was the problem. And, we did see Kevin ask her whether, Alyssa gave her husband a real chance. She didn't even give an answer, yes or no. And, when people try to avoid an answer, they know what the answer is, but they don't want to look a certain way. She was like, I wish there was things that I didn't say because of the mental state that she was in. She said she didn't feel like it was right away. Right away, she saw him. Yes, he was not her physical type when she did see him, but there was things that happened besides the physical attraction that made her feel that way and that really upset her. Now, what she said was that she claimed the wedding was where she started to be concerned, and the night went on and she learned things about him, like when she was talking to the three groomsmen. And this is, if you guys remember, where Chris's buddies told her that he was stubborn and he liked to be right all the time. And for her, I guess she claimed that was a red flag for her. She even refused to sleep in the honeymoon suite like we saw. She didn't think they were compatible. They didn't share the same hobbies. They don't have the same core values, beliefs, and she felt like that's where things got misconstrued, messed up, and her brain wasn't working right. She was crying all the time, and she was horrible. Uh, it was horrible for her, as she claimed. She also said that it was an overwhelming experience, but we didn't really get to see, because I guess we'll find out, more in part two about what happened. But here's my thoughts on this whole thing. Okay. So it's one thing, and I can't say I don't know what I would probably do in any type of situation. That's why I really don't advise people to go on these type of shows to be matched sight unseen unless you're really prepared or able to handle what come your way. Now, that doesn't excuse the fact of everything we saw on camera. Because in tomorrow's episode, we see previews of Dr. Pepper saying, like, look, you keep saying the show made you look bad or look a certain way. And like Dr. Pepper said, the words that came out of your mouth and some of the things that the cameras recorded, they didn't put those words in your mouth. And I mean, a lot of people were upset how O talked to Katina, right? But what we saw at the reunion last Wednesday is him taking accountability for what he said and how he realized how bad he looked, and somebody should have called him out. She's not even acknowledging that. She says she's blaming it on her mental state. And listen, like I said, I don't know what the pressures are when you're with somebody you're not attracted to, you don't want to be in the same space. You got all these cameras around. I get it, but that doesn't give you a license to act rude. I mean, she was calling his hand gestures aggressive. She didn't want him to come anywhere near her when they were at the little cafe sports bar, and it was almost like she was just freaked out about his presence. And the cameras caught each and every word, her behavior, her actions, her energy, all on camera. And every time in the reunion, and it probably will be a little bit more tomorrow, but every time in the reunion part one, she kept saying certain things. Production was more than happy to show the receipts to say, okay, how do you explain this? Okay, you didn't say you don't feel like you did anything wrong there. Well, what about this? Can you explain that? I mean, we saw all of the acting now, even when the cameras wasn't directly up on her. And I don't know if she realized that they were still filming or not. But, I mean, I don't know her as a person. And, you really don't get to see these people until they're away from the cameras. And, I always give a lot of credence to editing and frankenbiting and splicing and all that type of stuff. But a lot of that stuff that they filmed wasn't, it seemed like to be real time. So all of the rants, the down talking, how she felt, all of that was captured in one straight moment. It wasn't like jump cuts and clips and things like you would see, like we had the whole fake dating app thing that we saw with the two different phones and the tattoo and no tattoo on the neck because some clips were added in later in the season and put in the middle of the season. All that happened with if you don't know what I'm talking about. But this was them straight recording her through all her rants. So it's hard for her to actually deny what actually was happening in that moment. It was a straight, fluid conversation that, it wasn't like it flipped screen, 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 screen. Because there's the other thing with Lindsay. And if you haven't seen that video that I posted about Lindsay, and whether she was being a bully or whether she was being used, go check that out. We saw a lot from her too. And one thing I noticed about Lindsay is like she is not taking any accountability. She's owning it. I will say the difference between Alyssa and Lindsay. Alyssa is acting like it don't exist. I'm a good person. I was in a bad mental state. I don't know what you're talking about. That's like gaslighting. Lindsay is like, yeah, I did it. I own it. So what? Get over it. So, I mean, it's pretty interesting, the two dynamics with them. Whereas I know a lot of the other villain on the show that was portrayed was and always like, oh, I look like a whole fool on TV. Somebody should have called me out. I was rude, disrespectful. Katina helped me grow. I have to change my ways. So you can see the differences. You got one person saying, Lindsay, yeah, I did it. So what? You got Alyssa said, I don't know what you're talking about. And the other person is saying, I gotta take accountability because I look like a whole fool. So yeah, it's gonna be hard for her to get past this. I think, just like with most previous villains of other seasons, it's gonna be a while for Alyssa to shake this one. It really is. And as for Chris, he really didn't have to say much at all because everything else spoke for itself. He pretty much got to say about what's going on in his life now in regards to whether he's dating. And I think he did say he was dating. I think I actually saw a picture on IG of maybe him and someone, pretty lady with reddish hair. That could be. We'll see. I usually like to confirm and make sure of things before I start posting it because it'll come back to me and I don't like that kind of smoke. So I'm going to continue to check into that and see if that's his new date or girlfriend. But he really didn't have to say much in here. Everything tend to speak for itself. And of course, she's breaking down in tears. We'll get to see more of that tomorrow. But honestly, it's unfortunate that these, this, why did they even think to put these two together? I honestly believe that Alyssa had a strict list of what she wanted, and Chris wasn't it. But that's the chance you take when you come on a show like Married at First Sight because they might match a couple people based on compatibility, but there are some other people that they're going to put together strictly for drama to keep the fans watching. And I think that if these two had a rolled out the season, it would have been a whole hot mess. Because look at what we saw in the first 12 days. So let me know what you think. The behavior and action speaks for itself. Like I said, I always talk about editing and all of the components that come with that. But everything that they recorded was straight through with everything that she said when she go on her rants with this. So it wasn't like a backwards turn or we see jump cuts or something switched to somewhere else. I look for those types of things. Everything was recorded straight on. The words and phrases was one by one. And hey, they aired it. So, I think she need to take a little bit of accountability here, and she tried to apologize. I got to give that, at the beginning, but she got to see that where she was in that position and how it looks. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you think about this particular video. Did the show make her look bad? I know some folks might be out there like, oh, she's not that bad. It was just all of the editing and the cameras. Or is this truly Alyssa? This is her behavior. This is who she is. And like I said, we'll definitely get to see more after the season is done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. And look forward to the live that we're going to do for the season finale, part 2 of Married at First Sight Boston. See you in the next video. Bye.